Okay, folks, here it is. It's a C-nymph, 30 horse. This is the Mariner.
Okay, so I'm going to be removing the lower unit and inspecting the water pump impeller, and also taking a look at the lower unit's vacuum and pressure, see if it needs new seals. It appears to have some water intrusion after draining the gear oil. So stay tuned for that. It's coming up.
Okay, today I'm going to be working on this lower unit. I've already taken some of it apart. The water pump impeller is what's going to be changed out today, but I've got to do a pressure test to find out if the seals are bad in the on the drive shaft. Could be the shift shaft. The shift shaft seal could be bad, or the drive shaft, but we do know we have water intrusion because of the milky oil that we drained out of it. So we've already got the pump off, and he's asked me to help him out with this and replace these parts. So we've already taken, of course, this is the trim tab. This is the base plate that sits like this on top. So we've got that. We've also got the pump housing off. The pump housing, has got some grooves in the cup. So we purchased a new pump, a whole new pump kit, and a new base plate and everything else. So gaskets and whatnot. So these are all the old parts. Of course, the fasteners that go with it. And the new parts are here. And so, let me see if I can get some light on the subject here. That's a little better. Now, we've got this gasket. And of course, you can see the impeller is shot. It's been it's broken, it's cracking, it's definitely was time. Hopefully we caught this in time. We did find the pieces of the impeller still, inside the pump, so that was good. I didn't show you that here, but none of it was stuck up in the head of the outboard, so that's all very good. So anyway, these are the fasteners associated with the board, and we will have to find out where those go. But so in the meantime, we're going to try to rebuild this pump. So this gasket is this old gasket here, and I was starting to remove that already. Some of it came off in pieces. So, yeah, that's that gasket there. So, okay. Now, I'm going to do I'm going to do a pressure test on this and see if I get any bubbles coming out of here or out of here. And we'll go from there. So stay tuned. Well, I found the problem. Yeah, it's the shift shaft that's leaking. You can see all the bubble action coming out from the shift shaft. Now, looking at the parts breakdown on this, it doesn't really show an O-ring. I'm going to have to take this apart and see what I can see. I've got a screw down there. It looks like a Phillips head. Maybe I take that retainer off and see what I can find out. Because I don't understand. There's got to be some kind of an O-ring in there, but they only show this rubber boot, and maybe that's the replacement part. Maybe that is the seal. I don't know. Everything is so different on a lot of these things. Now I can push that boot down. Maybe, I don't know if this turns or how it shifts. I got to figure it out. But let's see. I'm going to spray some more down in there. up some more. Yeah, you can see it bubbling like crazy. Yeah. Well, that's our problem. So stay tuned. That's interesting. It's not even magnetic. Where is it? Where'd it go? No. Where the hell did it go? I don't see it now. Well, I'll be darned. Okay, I pulled the screw out. And it looks like there's a plastic retainer down here. And I think the way to get at it is to get this out first. So we can pry this up, which I already did. I kind of unstuck it a little bit. And we'll take this off. I'll clean that up a little bit. There doesn't look like any gasket on here. That's just a plate to hold it down. Of course, the seals are under here. And we'll put a new gasket. This is another gasket. But look here, you've got seashells or mussels in there that are blocking the passages. So it's kind of a good thing we pulled this apart. That would definitely create some water blockages. Yeah, these gaskets are no good. Okay. But the seals are okay, apparently. We're losing all our pressure from this boot here or something. So I've got to figure out how to get that off of there. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet. I'm not quite sure how that retainer is going to come off of there. And the shift shaft, I got to figure out how that even works, because was it working before? Because it feels kind of frozen up right now. I would think it would push it down, up or down, but it's not budging. And I did not see a Woodruff key. Oh yeah, there is a Woodruff key. Okay, so we have the Woodruff key. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to come out of there. Ah, a little screw there, it looks like. Maybe not. No. It looked like a screw, but it isn't. Oh, wait, maybe. Could be some sort of pin holding it. I don't know if that would. If I could drive that out. Let me see. I got a pick here. I'll try just to see what that looks like. I don't know. Very strange. That might be what's holding that drive shaft in there. I mean, that shift shaft in there. Huh. See a lot of rust, though. All right, well, stand by. Okay, I've gotten the retainer out. You have to use a pick, and you go in on the sides and you kind of pry it up on each side like that. And it just popped this retainer right out after I got the screw out of there. That little Phillips screw that goes in here to hold it down. Anyway, that's the screw for it. And then it comes out, and then this whole shift shaft just pulls right out. And this is the problem right here. This boot has lost its seal. So I might have to place that in order, and we'll see what we can do. But first of all, I've got to figure out why it's not shifting. It goes in there like this, and I should be able to either push it up or down to get this thing to shift into reverse. And for some reason, it don't want to do anything. It stays in forward gear. So that's a little bit of a strange situation. So this might have been stuck in first gear, forward gear, when he purchased it and didn't know it. So anyway, stand by. All right, I finally got the ring loosened. I had to chip out a piece of it in order to get it out, but it's moving now. That freed it up. So it is a standard thread, so I've got to go counterclockwise to remove it. So once I get this out, hopefully I'll be able to pull this barrier carrier out, and possibly give me some room on this prop shaft to get this shift shaft to engage, because I've got to pull this out just a bit in order for that pin inside that's located inside the shift shaft, or the prop shaft, to get that shift shaft to go down in place. So anyway, I'll keep working on this to see if I can't get this completely off, and then we'll see about getting this barrier carrier out. So okay, I kept just knocking it in the counterclockwise direction, and now it can spin out pretty freely here. See, there's the area I had to chisel out, but gave enough clearance for that to free up. Otherwise, there's no way I would have been able to get this out of here. So there we have it. Yeah, there's a whole section taken out of it. So that's no good. And there's a piece of it there. Okay. Now the trick will be, I just got to get this ring out. This is the retainer ring. And now to get that barrier carrier out, I'm going to have to probably do some, I don't have a puller the size big enough for this, small enough for this, for the proper size. So, there's some other means of doing it. Maybe try to protect the prop shaft, chuck that in the vise, and then kind of hit it with a rubber mallet to see if I can free that. That might work. So we'll try that. Okay, I got it apart. I had to heat it up. I was using this MAP gas. I heated it up on the outside of the casing, and I began to pound on it with this rubber mallet. So I kept hitting it here, and I kept hitting it on the skeg, but gently, just gently. And, you know, as hard as I could without doing any damage, but it finally came loose. And so you can, when I did get it off, I slid it like that. So you can see the inside. So that would be the forward gear. And of course, that's the reverse gear. And it don't look too bad. The ratchet looks pretty good. I mean, everything looks intact. It's dirty. It was definitely dirty. Some of this grit and grime got through. You can see it here. So this seal probably needs to be replaced now. So we'll get a seal on order. I don't think the prop shaft seal was hurt or damaged because I was heating it here. So I think we're in good shape on the prop shaft seal. I think the bearing's okay. Let's rub it on that thrust washer back here. So, and there's some, looks like there's some shims in there maybe. Well, looks like there's some shims in the back here. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is. Otherwise, or they could be in there. Possibly. I don't feel any though. I was looking on that ridge down there. The gears look all intact, but the reason I even took this apart is because I needed to get the shift shaft inserted this way. Okay. Now you can see down in there. There's where the cam is on the shift shaft. I'm pulling it up and down. So I think all the way down is in reverse, and then all the way up is in forward. But I can't remember exactly. But this is why I couldn't get that in there, because this had been pulled out, and it contacts this pin right here, and it moved it beyond the pin, so I had to pull it apart in order to get it back reassembled again. So I'm almost done. So we're getting there. Just got to get an O-ring for this, And I need a new ring assembly, that new castle ring, or a new castle ring. Where did I put it? I'm making a mess here. I'm going to set that down. The castle ring. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. This is it. Yeah, this is the castle ring that secures that in, and I broke that, so I've got to get a new one. I purposely had to break it out of there. So anyway, okay, we'll stay tuned. That's very, very rusty in there. A lot of weather got in that. I mean, the gears don't reside in there, but they reside further back. But wow, yeah, this is casing. I don't know why we've gotten so corroded pitted. Must have stayed in the water. This probably was left in the water for a long time. Well, slow it down a little bit. Looks very good. Pretty nasty. Okay, well, I think it's not too horrible, I guess, but it almost needs to be honed just to clean it out. It just got some corrosion in there. But further back where the gears, live, there it's smooth and clean. So probably just where the barrier carrier was at. It got a bunch of moisture in there. But anyway, let's see. Got our new parts. This is the new ring. This is the old ring. They look identical. So, and we also got, well, that's part number, this thing's handwritten on here, 9078979. $23.64. This is a Mercury. This is the shift shaft seal. Boot is what it's called. 82914M. And it's production of Japan. So this is built in Japan. Okay, so we've got our two parts that we need. Let's see. And open the door. Looking for, I don't see it here. The pin is missing. Unless I stuck it in here. Ah, there it is. Okay, I knew I didn't lose it. Okay, so the pin is important. So that's got to go in there with the point facing that way. And the shift shaft contacts that pin like this. So, and as this goes down, it hits this cam and pushes on this ratchet. So you can see how that works. So as this gets pushed in, it pushes the ratchet into this reverse gear. So all the way down is reverse, neutral, and then first gear. Or forward gear, I should say. So before I begin, I need to put this new boot down the shaft where it contacts this, I believe it, I don't think it goes all the way to this here. I believe it comes down, it might, oh yeah it does, yeah, it bottoms out here. So anyway, I've got to put that on here. I've got to put this boot on the shaft. Maybe put some sealer on it. And this boot also has a new ring on it, a new spring for spring tension to seal it. I'm going to put some aviation sealer on this as well. Some Permatex aviation sealer. I'm going to do that after I assemble this. So that boot goes on like that. This should help seal that off so that nothing water can get in or oil can get out. And that might even provide some lubrication as it goes in. Now, if I remember right, there's also a retainer that helps push that down. Must be in here. Here it is. I don't know if you can see this or not. This retainer goes over this like this, and it goes down in there, and then it screws down. That's what holds that boot down in place. Need a better light so I can see. You gotta be able to see that retainer all the way down here though. That screw really doesn't do any, it doesn't screw into anything. It just screws down and then spreads that, acts as a wedge to spread those tabs so that the retainer can kind of wedge it in there. So I'm going to have to do something to kind of tap that in there. Maybe a screwdriver. There it is. I believe that's all the play there is right there. Pretty sure that's it. Now, yeah, that's it. Okay. All you do is put the ring back in, the retainer ring. This one goes in first, I think. Where's it? This one? Actually, this ring goes in first. Okay, we're going to do a pressure test now. Now that I've got the barrier carrier in, I've got the new shift shaft seal in. I believe that was the only seal that was bad from what I saw from the air pressure that we put in and the foam from the soap that we applied. And as she's going up to 10 and holding, so I think you can see that there. And we'll take it up to 15. Oop, I hit the button. Always do that. We'll take it up to 15. Let's see what happens. Well, it dropped a couple pounds. I'll have to see where that's coming from. That's where this bottle of soap comes from. I was kind of, well, it's holding at 13. I'm wondering if it's my fittings. Could also be the vent plugs. Oop, hit the button again. see anything at the vent plugs. Yeah, it's dropping a couple of pounds here, but I think it's holding it around 12 or 13. Let's see. Boy, the drive shafts are not, the drive shafts weren't leaking before, but I couldn't get it up to 15 pounds, but now they are leaking. Yeah, drive shafts are leaking. Now I gotta tear that down and rebuild that. So, okay, well, not tonight. I'm done for tonight. I didn't see if you can see this. We got a bunch of air coming out at about 13 pounds. The drive shaft seals are starting to, let's see here. Yeah, you can see the air bubbles coming up as I pump this up. So he does need new drive shaft seals. And there's 2 of them in there. So that means those are bad. Well, I wish I would have known that before I put this all back together, because this has probably got to come out again. So to get these, unless I can pull these out without having to pull the drive shaft out, I don't know. I'll have to think about that. There's ways of doing it, but anyway, stay tuned. Taking the lower unit apart again. I'm going to remove this seal. I've already drilled a hole and I put this screw in there. So basically all you got to do at that point is just grab hold with some channel locks and bite down and then pry it out of there or hammer it out of there. So I've already cleaned these surfaces too. They were pretty dirty. I don't know if there was a gasket there or what. I'll have to look at the other side, the mating side. But this does look like there was a gasket on here, or at least there's some corrosion here. And then it looks clean where it all mated up. So might have been a gasket. Anyway, I'm back on the seals, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to yank this thing out, and basically I'll attach the channel locks and then just kind of tap it out of there. So stand by. So basically I just tapped it like that, and it popped right out. So that's how loose those were in there. I didn't do very much work to get that out of there. So I got to get the lower one, and I'll do the same thing. I think my my drill went down pretty far into that second seal. So all right, so stand by. Okay, and here's the second seal. So I got them both out, and you can see that the screw went in deep enough, and it didn't contact the drive shaft or that portion where it seals. So we're good to go. Just got to reinsert the seals and do a pressure test, and we're good to go. Seals, it says replaces Yamaha 93101 22067-00. They're both identical. This is the Sierra part number 18-0296, and purchased through marineengine.com. So these are definitely, looks like the correct seals. Yeah, looks good. Okay, definitely looks like the same seals. So that's good. All right. Okay, I just took the screw out, but just to compare, they do look identical. Okay, so we're going to put these in, and we'll continue. Okay, with the seals removed, I was able to take this old toothbrush and grind it down a little bit, and I'm using a Scotch-Brite pad, and I'm kind of just going in there and cleaning that out as best I can, because there's probably some glue in there or something holding it, that's holding the seals in. So just want to make sure that that's as clean as I can get it. So I just kind of went around like this with this plastic. I mean, you can use anything you can find, but you got to use something that's not not going to damage anything. But I believe it's pretty clean now. I mean, for as old as this is, I'm going to put some Permatex aviation sealer on these seals, and we'll reseal that surface in there and go from there. I think that the race is in good shape, but I believe also too that the seals were put in improperly. Maybe this was resealed at one time, or somebody attempted to. But looking at these seals, when I pulled them out, they were both facing this direction. Well, they were stacked like this on each other. And according to what I'm looking at in the assembly, they want you to back them. In other words, the first one goes in like this, the second one goes in like this. And that's supposed to help seal it. So I think these were wrong. I think they were improperly installed, because they should not be back to back like this. And most of the time I've seen seals not installed like that, that they're actually installed this way. So it's that's definitely an issue, because I saw if you go back in the video, you'll see it. You can see the seals, how they were put in, because I had to drill through each opening through this rubber here on both of them. So this one, the top one was installed right, the bottom one was incorrectly installed. It should have went in like that. So that's what we're going to do now, and put them in the way they're supposed to go in. And now that my surface is clean, I'm going to Permatex aviation seal the outer surfaces, the circumference of these seals, and also on the inside of the race around here, the perimeter, and just put them in. So we'll go from there. Basically, I put both seals in, and I use this pipe, and I have laying around that I use for leverage on tightening up wrenches and whatnot. But it seemed to work perfectly. So I went over the drive shaft. I'm sure there's a special tool for this, and I just kind of pounded it in. Pounded the first one in, lined up the second one, and pounded the second one in at the top. Just lightly tapped it in after applying that Permatex sealer, gasket sealer. So I think we're good to go. Went in nicely. No issues, and yeah, the drive shaft is even harder to turn, so I know that's setting up that resistance, because it was really sloppy. Now I'll give that a chance to just kind of take a set, and we'll do another pressure test and see if that doesn't solve our leak. Okay, this is a repeat of the vacuum and pressure test that we did. So I'm looking at about just over about 16 pounds of pressure, and I'm not seeing any bubbles whatsoever coming out of there. It's holding. That's what we're looking for. Nothing on the prop shaft. So this unit is sealed now. It's in good shape. I just got to refill it with gear oil. I'm going to exercise the drive shaft again. Make sure we don't see any bubbles. Exercise the shift shaft. There's still no bubbles, and we're holding at 16 pounds. So I'm going to let that sit for 15 minutes. Come back, and then I know it's good. 15 minutes, I know it's good. So anyway, it was a whole lot better than it was. It's definitely holding pressure. Now I'll come back and we'll do a vacuum test. This gasket to go on is this Quicksilver 2784799. That's the base gasket that was put on first after the seals. Then this protector plate goes down, I probably should have cleaned this up a little bit, but I think it's just a protector plate. So it's going to go down over this. I believe it goes this way. Just like that. And of course there's 2 pins. One's in the box. Oh, what do I do with it? I saw it. Ah, here it is. Okay, this is the other pin. And that would go in here. It's a locator pin. And then after that, the protector plate goes on. Then this gasket goes on. It's 27-95656M. And it looks like this. So that'll go over on top of this, on top of the protector plate. So let's do that. Now, there's 2 sides to this. So I believe that this side goes down. Let's try it. I don't think it can go any other way because it's tabbed. Just like that. Yep. Okay. That's how that goes in there. Now, next, base plate. There we go. Then we have, I believe, another gasket. I think this goes on top of here. Yeah, this is it. Oop, wrong way. Okay. And then we have our pump housing. But we've got to install the cup. Now the cup came with a gasket, like a rubber gasket already attached to it. So that's got to be put in place in here. And I probably will put some Permatex on that just for safety's sake. I think we had an extra gasket here. This is a duplicate, and it only required one. So I think one we ordered separately and one came with the kit. So that's extra. And of course, this was the old water pump housing. So everything looks correct there. That looks like the right gasket in the right place. So everything looks good. I just got to assemble this. I'm going to put some Permatex on that, press that in, and then assemble the water pump impeller. Put a thin layer on, you know, if it, that way maybe it'll come apart later on without damaging it. This might keep it, you know. So if this gets worn out, you don't have to replace the whole doggone, you know, water pump. Okay, we'll go from here. Okay, so what I'm doing, I just put the impeller down. I greased it up a little bit. You can use dish soap or whatever, but I used a little bit of grease, not much. And I'm just going to put this down in position, and I'm going to spin the drive shaft with these channel locks. As I rotate the drive shaft clockwise, it'll orient that impeller, and I can push that cap down on top of it. The water pump housing will snap right down in place. So I'm going to do that, And I'm going to set the camera down. So, okay, I've got each of these bolts all coated with Permatex on the threads, just to help seal it up. And I've already done the other two. Just need to bolt it down. Bolted down, everything is in place. Now, the only thing that's got to go on now is this thing. So, and also this water tube seal. That's going to go right in here. So we can stick that in there. That's brand new. Okay, and then this cover. I don't know exactly what this is for. I've never seen one like this, but anyway, we'll put it on. And I believe, oh, I guess those bolts go over the top of that. I didn't realize. Okay, well, it's some sort of protective housing that goes on there. I'll have to remove those bolts to put that back on. So, okay, got the pump in. All this has been cleaned up. And so it's in. Now back to the pressure. It's been probably at least an hour or so, and we're still at 16 pounds. So now I'm going to release the pressure, and I'm going to, these are O-rings for the drain screws and vent screws. So anyway, I'm going to release the pressure, and we'll do a vacuum test. Change direction. As soon as it's hard to do this with one hand. Okay, there we go. Now we can do a vacuum check. And that's right at 15 pounds of mercury, which is vacuum. So we'll come back and see how that turns out. But I think all in all, it all worked out pretty good. The shifter's working. The drive shaft is hard to even turn with one hand. That's because those seals are really tight, and she's sealing pretty well. So we'll verify that with a vacuum, and I'll come back in probably half an hour. Got the pump in. All this has been cleaned up, and so it's in. Now back to the pressure. It's been probably at least an hour or so, and we're still at 16 pounds. So now I'm going to release the pressure, and I'm going to, these are O-rings for the drain screws and vent screws. So anyway, I'm going to release the pressure, and we'll do a vacuum test. Change direction. As soon as it's hard to do this with one hand. Okay, there we go. Now we can do a vacuum check. And that's right at 15 pounds of mercury, which is vacuum. So we'll come back and see how that turns out. But I think all in all, it all worked out pretty good. The shifter's working. The drive shaft is hard to even turn with one hand. That's because those seals are really tight, and she's sealing pretty well. So we'll verify that with a vacuum, and I'll come back in probably half an hour. It's been a half an hour, so we're good to go. I'm going to fill this up with oil, and we're going to complete this job. So stay tuned. These are the gaskets for the drain and oil, or I'm sorry, drain or fill washers. So they're identical. And so we'll install those. We got our oil, we got our oil pump. So we're gonna fill it with oil. Probably wondering, is this the correct it meets the API GL5 spec. So it may not have the inhibitors or emulsifiers for water, but since this thing's sealed up good, this should work just fine. So we're going to go with it. And Mobile One's a good product. It doesn't say marine application, but I'm going to go with it. So anyway, stay tuned. Moved our oil level vent plug, and we're just going to now pump this in. So I don't know how much it'll take. Maybe one of these, maybe 1.5. I don't know. It's a smaller motor, 30, I think a 35 horse or 30 horse. And it is a Mariner, Japanese built. So one I guess is enough. So I'll give the owner back his other bottle, and he'll have something to change it next time. Actually, it didn't even take probably half of it. Okay. It's a clear synthetic, so you can see it's very clean coming out. It says clear on the container. Okay, so I gotta open one of these packages and take out our little O-rings or washers and put it on our bolt, and we'll seal it up. The lower unit is now finished, ready to be installed into the boat or into the power head. So I just let the owner know, and I may be taking it up to Port Huron and installing it myself. So stay tuned for the ride if you want to go.